name is Russ, and this is the first video in a series of videos I'm going to put on YouTube that will explain how I personally build Cigarbox ukuleles. Hopefully my head's not cut off. I'll just stand back here in case it is. So, obviously I don't have video editing. These are all going to be one-off shots. I'm going to keep the videos brief, between 5 and 10 minutes, because one, I'm not sure how much memory my camera has, and two, I can only suck my gut in for about 5 to 10 minutes before it gets really uncomfortable. So the videos will be short. This first video I'm going to talk about boxes. Okay, building a Cigarbox ukulele is a lot of fun. There's a lot of videos on YouTube that show how to do it, and a lot of those videos entail using like a kit where you purchase the neck, you purchase the fretboard, and you assemble it. And those are all great. If you're a weekend warrior and you want to build a ukulele in a couple of days, I highly recommend getting one of those kits and building a ukulele that way. It's a really good product. It looks great. What you'll find it's different in my process is I pretty much build everything from scratch. The only thing I purchase are the tuners, the strings, the fret wire, and if I'm going to put a pickup in the instrument, I'll put a pickup in there too. So a lot of the instructional videos also give you like a size range to build your ukulele. As far as the box goes, how long the box should be and how deep the box should be. But I'm here to tell you that contrary to popular belief, size doesn't matter. Okay, you can build a Cigarbox ukulele out of any size box, any material box. You can pretty much make music from any component. You can make music with a tin can if you want to get creative and innovative about how you do it. Once I made a musical instrument out of a paper cup, a paper clip, and a piece of rubber band at work, and then I got in trouble because I wasn't working. So let's talk about boxes. This box right here, we'll bring this in a little closer, is a redwood box. It's made by House of Windsor Cigarbox Company. Back in the 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, and even into the 60s, they built their cigar boxes out of this fine redwood material. So check it out. 7 cigars for $1. Man, that's awesome. So the box comes with inserts. A lot of the cigar boxes, even the new ones, will come with an insert. We'll get into this more later when I show how to prep the box, but I highly recommend to save these inserts because they do come in handy later in the building process. So these boxes are natural tone wood. I think when House of Windsor was selling cigars, they probably didn't have in mind that years down the road, some of us would be taking their boxes and actually building instruments. But it's a great box. This is the golden standard for cigar boxes, as far as I'm concerned, with respect to building musical instruments. So if you can find these, snag them up. I have seen these for sale online for like up to $20-30 a box. I highly recommend not going that route. You can find these at flea markets, garage sales. I once bought a box full of buttons for like $1.50. It was one of these boxes, and I paid $1.50 for the buttons. And I got this cool cigar box, which is what I really wanted in the first place, and a bunch of buttons that I'll never use. So anyway, you can find them anywhere. Here's some other good examples. I got a Tudor Arms box here, which is in really good shape. You can tell this is a little bit older because I actually screened the logo on the wood. It doesn't have a paper insert on it. Some boxes that I tend to stay away from, but again, you could still build with them, are paper boxes. This is a really old El Moro paper box. Actually, it was made here in North Carolina, or at least the cigar company was, factory number C2. You can tell this is old because it's like 5 cents a cigar. Man, that's cheap. That's 20 for $1. So paper boxes are okay, but they're really spongy, and there's a lot of stuff you got to do to the guts inside, and a lot of treatment you got to do to the wood to make it actually resonate and project sound. So if you have a really cool paper box, don't let this dissuade you from building with it, but there's a lot of things you got to do to the paper box, and I'm probably not going to get into that in this series of videos. The other box I try to stay away from are these mushy boxes, the Maduro boxes, Tabacalera. They're good boxes, but I mean, if you could squeeze them with your thumb and your finger and put a dent in them, probably not going to work that well without a lot of special work, which again I'm not going to get into too much in this series of videos. This is a beautiful Hemingway box. It's very solid. I mean, it's like 1/2 inch thick. So the hardwood boxes, they're okay too, but if you're going to go with a box like this, keep in mind that this is just the opposite end of the spectrum. And in this case, it's too mushy and it's not going to resonate. In this case, the wood's too hard and it's not going to project a lot of sound. So if you are going to go with a thick box like this, you need to keep in mind that there's things you'll have to do in the building process to try to reduce the thickness of the top of that box. Also, you'll see on the inside of the box, there's like a flocking or like a velvet material inside of here. Anything like this that you have inside a box, if it's not paper or if it's not glossy backed, you want to pull that out, because what that does is it actually dampens your sound resonance inside the sound chamber. So if you do have a box that's got stuff inside and you think the artwork's really cool and you don't want to get rid of the artwork, you probably don't want to use that box for a musical instrument. So that being said, I think that covers the box end of it. This little tiny box here, 50 Chicos, you can actually build a ukulele out of this little box. And I'll get into the scaling and how to get proper intonation in a subsequent video, but the sky's the limit. I once made an instrument out of a Altoid can and a tennis racket. So just keep that in mind. There are really no limitations, but these boxes are probably the best. This is a nice page-rin plywood box. Forgot to talk about the plywood. These boxes work great too. I've made several instruments out of plywood. You can get a lot of the more modern boxes are made out of plywood, and a lot of them have some really cool artwork. So that's something to go with as well. What I'm going to do in this series of videos is I'm going to take the Tudor Arms box that I just showed you, redwood, and I'm going to take this plywood box and I'm going to build two instruments in parallel. So I'll be building them together, and I'll be making the videos of both the boxes. And what I'm going to do is show just some variations in how you build a cigar box. So the Tudor will be all acoustic, non-electric. I'll be using violin tuners on this one. And the Padron I'm going to make with a piezo electric pickup and mechanical tuners of some sort on the neck. So that's all I got for this time. I will see you, hopefully, if you like this video. You can follow any videos I put out in the future if I continue to do this, which I plan to, and keep making music.